We're going live already. We didn't even do a thumbnail.
Oh, Christ.
And we're live.
Okay.
You see, that's what happens if we start talking about stuff. Well, guys, we didn't.
Hi.
Yeah. So now
We're here.
we're 10 minutes early.
Holy shit.
Do you want to stop this and maybe? Nah, let's
just do
let's
it.
just go with it.
I wore my special shirt today, so we might as well.
Oh, nice.
Lucrative.
Nice. The
Yeah.
one I pumped out. Over
Yeah. Let's see. It's,
If it can't kill you, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
What's the sign that you have in your shop?
Oh,
yeah. Not only will it kill you, but it'll hurt the whole time you're dying.
That's right.
And Dr. Art thoughtfully brought me a nice cold water.
Yeah.
I've been
So we get
milking this thing along.
Since your air conditioners still suck.
Please. It's better than it was.
Because it's 20 degrees cooler than it was outside 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Stying Lincoln, Dickie Farley, Greasy Garage. Word.
What's happening?
What's happening, guys?
Well, since we're early, there was good news. Because on my bi-weekly, pound run, we're showing the dogs that are all up for adoption.
Kathy was just there today.
And it was 3/4 empty. I was happy. That whole back row was empty.
Kathy was here today because it was a German Shepherd, and she was like at the end of her.
There was two of them there. A girl, which she was been there for a while, and she's finally calm enough to adopt. But I was talking to her, and she's doing the German Shepherd lead. I'm rubbing her head and stuff like that. She's on the shorts, and there was another guy he's a little hyper. He was younger, but he was a big male.
Well, Kathy went there because she said that she saw the pictures and it looked like she had mats in her fur. So Kathy went there to brush out the mats.
Oh, that was the big male. Yeah,
that was the male.
He was in the middle of blowing coat.
Okay.
So yeah, he looked like, but he was just blowing coat. That's just what they do.
That shit breaks my heart. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right.
We're getting. Oh,
we forgot we're online.
We got 11 thumbs already too. Look at all that.
13.
Wow.
Oh God, who's in here? Bobby Z, Cabello, Carburetor, Todd Denio, Dickie Farley, Fun with Cars, Nathan McCree, E-Fog, Rodney Hargis. What's happening from Wartburg?
Zero's here.
Zero. Yes.
Hot Rat Tiny Hogs. Let's see who else.
Well, I'm all talked out.
Travis Moore and Dickie Farley. Yeah, that's it.
I'm all talked out. That's it. Maybe I should wait. Do I move this way?
Yeah. Should we just move the camera back?
No,
it's good.
A lot like
it's
work.
good. All right. Yeah, we're good.
And this is working, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not.
They can hear us. They would have said no volume by now. They can hear us.
Okay.
It's fine.
Zero saying he prefers this format. Zero, it's not that we did the other one like on Sunday night. She was trying to get it to go the other way, and for some reason she couldn't get it. It's something either with the pad that she works with, or I don't know. But yeah, she was having problems with that. So we were trying to go back to this format. Dickie's saying the sound is good.
Good. Zero put the link up to my channel. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes. The ever helpful.
And we should have trivia because I have stickers to give away. I just happen to have
nice.
it. I was going to tag the swinger, but or put one in the glove box for the next owner.
I need one or two of those.
Okay, here's a bunch. Okay.
Todd Denio was saying, Tony, it's pronounced Denio. I said that, didn't I? What did I say? Okay. Yes. And yes, so Zero put the link to Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. Where every single Monday night.
Well, it may be Tuesday night because of dog show.
Dog show?
Because Erica wants me to go to the dog class with her.
That's on Monday nights?
Yeah.
No, it's Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Okay, well, yes, every Monday night, 7 o'clock.
Yes.
The first one is Monday, I think. The orientation is next week. I don't know. She's confused. Anyway.
Okay.
Monday night, 7 o'clock, my channel. Come for free tacos. If you can import them download them on your laptop, they're free.
Thumper. Thumper, I was watching, I had a live stream on this morning, right? I'm still like convalescing, like for my back out on Sunday, moving an engine block. And I was watching a live stream this morning, Thumper, and I saw you go through in the comments, but I don't remember what live stream it was. I was trying to call the cat. Look, it's Thumper.
It's just like it was Thumper. Tacos and free. That's my jam. See, that's how you get the big numbers. I still don't know how, but
Tacos.
Apparently,
Everybody.
Downloadable laptop tacos.
Yes. No, definitely wasn't Richard Holdner. I don't. Yes, Tim Pool. Yes, it was Tim Pool. Okay, that was it. Timcast IRL. Tin Man 64. I had a 66 Hemi Charger back in the 80s. Sold it to get married. Sure, like that 67 would have a nice warm garage. No, that's not for sale. No, that's definitely we're just rebalancing the fleet. Certain cars are absolutely staying, and other ones that have become like extraneous. Like anything that the Cherokees have taken the place of. In other words, we don't use it anymore because we're using one of the Cherokees. Those are the cars that are going. But like the hot rods, the project cars, all that stuff, those all stay.
Now are you gonna start driving the Satellite now? Now that it's freed up and
What's Satellite?
You're 73. It's a
Roadrunner.
Okay.
Yeah. That is coming here as soon as the Belvedere is out, and we're going to go through that.
Oh, you're gonna do.
I've already got all the
brakes
brake
and all this
parts for it.
stuff?
I got to do some metal work on it too. The quarters are rough, so I got to do some metal work on that car.
Okay.
But that's we're going to do this basically the same thing we do with the Charger. We're going to do with that one.
Okay, just put it back to life and spray it and drive it and be happy. Yeah.
Come on, man. No, bro. Seriously, it's honestly not for sale at any price. Well, there you go. Jimbo Jones, good morning from Australia. Your last comment was deleted. Try it again, man.
Try it again. It's okay.
Dean Moody, what's up with your LP intake? It's there.
It's right over there. And he did do some work on it. I can see that. Yes.
Dude, Sunday I was like, yeah, I'm gonna spend the whole day working on a Belvedere, right? I was gonna actually pop the rear end out of it. So I put the lower end blocks on, lower the rear end 2 inches. And the Scott guy came by.
Oh, to get the Jeep block or something?
It had a 440 block in the back that was junk, right? And he says, can I take the block now? I says, yeah, sure, go ahead. Right? He says, well, can you give me a hand with it? I said, yeah, of course, no problem.
No problem.
So, well, the thing is, I'm old, right? He's even older. He's like in his 70s.
Okay.
So we grabbed the block together, and like he was standing like far away from me. So yeah, so we went to go make that turn, and I didn't want to pull it. You know what I mean? Like towards me. So I just leaned in a little bit. And when I leaned and turned, it's like something just went
leverage pivot. Snap.
And that ended my day. And that ended forward progress on the Belvedere. But yes, it's actually on jack stands now. And that was my intent, was to work on the car all day Sunday. Let's see. Thunderbird, is it still too hot to work? No,
it's getting better. Yeah.
The hot doesn't stop me from working. The hot stops me from taking stuff to the track because it's pointless. If you're going for ET, going on a hot muggy night is not the time to do it. So it's just a waste of time. But I work I'm an Italian. I love working in the hot. It could be 100 degrees outside, and I'm turning wrenches. You don't like the hot?
No.
No.
I don't like the hot. It's not. I don't mind the heat. I would, I'll be in the desert 105 degrees, no problem. It's the humidity. It's like, it makes my lungs run through mud and I can't breathe. And it's all gone.
Paul Cavazola, what's up with the blue Roadrunner? Doing carburetors for it now. Doing carburetors for it right now.
Travis Moore, that old Plymouth on the highway that passed us the other day was running rich. I could smell the gasoline from the exhaust.
Nice.
Yeah.
It does happen. Speaking of old things running and whatnot, did Big Richard, have you fired it up yet?
Nope.
What are you waiting for? Like the next eclipse?
Yes. Well, I put the new fuel tank in.
Okay.
And when I took the old fuel tank out, it was like brand new behind there. And it's that area under the window. I figured, oh, it's rusty and crappy. No, it was like, oh, and I wiped it down and it's like brand new blue.
Shame to cover it with a gas tank.
Yeah, but so that's in. So it's all. I mean, it's literally a battery tray away. Maybe this weekend.
All right. Jimbo Jones, thanks for the Quadrajet videos. I'm about to try a Chinese one on my 350 small block Chevy. I just watched a video on a Charlie, the Chinese Holly knockoff.
Oh,
yeah. So it's a 600. What channel was that? It was called Muscle Car Solutions or Muscle Car. I don't know the name of the channel, but I was interested. I watched it. So they sell this thing like $230 something, which is half the price, less than half the price of the new Holly. And then with discounts, he got it for $89. So now seriously, right? How do you not buy?
How do you not buy 5 of them?
This is what I'm saying. Even
if you got to buy 5, 3 are going to be good, you know.
So I watched it. He went through it. It had some neat features, you know. It actually had bush throttle bores.
Oh, they didn't just drill and
no
nylon bushings in there?
There's a bushing. No, there's a brass bushing in there.
A brass bushing?
Brass bushing. And it comes with extra jets.
Really?
Yes, it comes with an assortment of jets, but they were numbered weird. The guy actually had to,
put
wire drills to figure
numbers?
out what they were. But I was interested in that. Mike Harrington, thank you for the super chat. I was and am actually in shock and disappointment that you neglected the oil changes on your Project Daily Driver. You're a car guy. Why? Because I don't care. I don't care. See, that's the thing. It's like, okay, if I put the car out on the street, right? You have to understand this about me, right? If I put something out on the street, I consider it to be disposable, right? If it's something that I use sparingly, nice weather, take it to the track, you know what I mean? That sort of stuff, pampered cars. I take hyper good care of those things. But if it's something that I actually put into traffic, like here, Kat, take this thing to the store, okay? I literally consider it to be a disposable throwaway car. And that Swinger, that since its purpose was to be a daily driver type of car, it's a disposable throwaway car. And I just don't spend time or energy or mental effort on disposable throwaway things. Does that make any sense?
There was a comment up here that I wanted to address. Go back here.
Which one?
Because it's related. From the formula, Dr. Art, appreciate the LSPCM videos and using a carb. I had 3 of them this week on the blue. People sending me their PCMs for their LS to run a carburetor on them.
We're starting a revolution, bro.
Oh, I know. I'm saving these people like $1,000 over buying the MSD, all that crap and stuff like that. And it runs better. And it's, you don't have to buy anything. Send it to me, plug it back into your car, take off the intake, put it on your carburetor, and boom, runs. Yeah.
We're starting a revolution. We're de-teching the world.
Yes.
We're gonna bring everybody back to Flint.
Exactly. But so appreciate the comment, and yeah, and it's the more and more, and then the JTech computer stuff is I got a couple of those coming this week too. So it's like, oh, this little side gig is pretty, working out pretty, because the reason they send them to me, other people can do this, but they charge like $600 and I'm $225. That includes return shipping, so it's, send them, and it
might as well be free.
Right. Exactly.
Might as well be free.
Exactly. It just pays for the, my little, side hobby, which is cool.
He doesn't care about the vehicle. His wife is driving. What the hell? And then somebody else said, well, she probably checks her own oil. You see the Charger, the black Charger? She built the engine that's in that car. Kathy has probably more hands-on experience than 75% of the people that are watching this right now.
Mm-hmm. And Mark, so yes, that will work on your 02 6-liter Silverado. Yes. I'd rather see you put a turbo on it because I could tune it for that than the nice turbo Silverado. Yeah. But if you want to run a carb on it, yep, send it to me.
Wheelie King is saying, keep detecking. The world will fix itself.
Yes.
Will that work on my O2?
Yeah. Yep.
John Pye is saying the resident is talking and I don't care.
The president.
And I think he spelled it wrong. It's resident.
Oh, he's the resident at what do they call it?
1600.
Visiting Angel Sanctuary.
Oh, let's not go there.
Quack addict. Okay, good question. I'm 16, have $5,000. Well, damn good for you. And I'm looking for a classic first car, no modern BS. What would you look for in my situation?
Okay, so Quack Attack. Now, you remember now there's a multi-generation gap between you and us, right? So what we consider to be a classic car may not be what you consider to be a classic car. So why don't you define that a little bit better? Give us an idea of what you yourself mean by classic car.
Yeah, you mean 80s, 90s? You mean 50s? You mean...
Yeah, like to us, classic cars 50s, 60s, 70s, right? To you, classic car might be, early 2000s.
Yeah, NF body, or
so
yeah.
Yeah, if you could define, you come a little bit closer, define what you mean by classic car, we could probably help you out.
And the dude being 16 years old, letting $5,000 stacked is the accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Rust Peter Derelicts. Tony, my piece of shit 73 Dart with the rotted out floorboards. Roommate did me a favor fixing the rotted floor with a pizza boxes under the carpet. Okay. His girlfriend, it's a good temporary fix, for a couple hours. His girlfriend threw a big gulp in my lap trying to put the fire out. Nice. Well, at least she went and she put out the important parts. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, in your lap. She was thinking about your future children.
Yeah, it's one thing to get burned up, another thing to melt down the family jewels. So yeah, she did a good job.
And if it was pizza boxes, it probably smelled pretty good while it was on fire.
Definitely. Speed Demon. Hey Tony, how's the muscles feeling in your lump? Better. Today I'm walking around. The last couple of days I've been sidetracked, but today I'm moving around. I'm okay. It's stiff is all. Last night, Kathy went to bed, right? And I was watching TV, right? And it was maybe 11 o'clock, 11:30. And I was I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep. And I was in a position on the couch.
You couldn't get up.
I couldn't escape from this position. It took me 15 minutes. I didn't want to wake her up. You know what I mean? Because I feel
we need Tony.
I'm stuck on the couch. So I said, no, I'm going to tough this one out. And it took me a good 15 minutes to unlock from the position. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. It went 5 degrees in one direction. 5 degrees in another direction. Oh, it was terrible. Let's see. Did our 16-year-old friend?
No, I didn't see anything how he elaborated.
It was Quack Attack. No, I don't see anything there. Okay. Looking for something carbureted. Then okay. See what Melvin is saying here. Looking at an 80s GM G body.
Oh yeah.
Okay, if you got $5,000 to spend, you can actually pick up a pretty decent car. I would look for a Malibu, right? Simplest, most straightforward of all of the G bodies.
Oh yeah.
You say?
Yeah. Any Malibu Cutlass, anything like that. Yeah, and and really though, you could put any engine in on the V6, a 350 Chevy, an LS, whatever your heart content is.
Yep.
You can swap that motor over. There's just mounts for it.
Now those cars they're carbureted. They're also computerized, but the computer with that really just has to do with low speed mixture on the carburetor and the ignition timing.
And you could throw that away.
And you could unplug that. Well, you would want to put an earlier distributor in it with a vacuum advance if you wanted to do away with the computer system on that car. But those are dead on, man. You can't go wrong with those.
Easy to fix. They're like Legos.
Parts
everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want a car you can actually enjoy working on, one of those. There's plenty of room under the hood. Everything under the hood is cheap. those cars are starting to appreciate in value. So, try to find a clean one, but
Yeah, spend the most you can on the best one.
Yeah.
You'll be happy that you did.
I would have, if I wasn't like loaded up with Mopars, I would be loaded up with G bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They're really cool. And those are cars I took for granted when they were around. Like I had a Monte SS and had an 86 SS for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it's a big deal holding on to a car for a couple of years. But I took them for granted when they were around.
Because they're everywhere and they were cheap and
they were silly.
And half of them had 6 cylinders and they were,
They were silly. You remember? Oh God,
don't move.
That was a bad move. So in the 80s when those cars were around, we still had these majestic fucking like the Colonnade cars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we still had those cars like regular in traffic. So when the G bodies came around, it was like
that's a little square thing. You're like,
what the hell is that?
Yeah,
it's so silly. But now, like 40 years later, it's like no, those cars that's the pinnacle. If you ask me, that's the pinnacle of General Motors right there, man. The 80s G bodies.
Yeah, with just a double wishbone front suspension, live axle, leaf springs. Yeah, just.
Mark Sauvé. Yes. Mark, I like that when you put that. Mark Sauvé.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 79 Malibu drag car back half. I'm starting to think it might be time to sell it.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Melvin D is saying those V6s were awful. The Chevy V6 was.
They ran, but they had no power.
Yes. Because I remember I had a Malibu wagon with one of those engines.
So that 6-cylinder, that 2-barrel, and with that sideways hook for the air cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah, trying to go up a hill with stuff in the back was a no bueno.
Mm-hmm.
But the Buick V6s weren't bad. The Chevy V6s were weak. Let's see.
Oh, here's a good one. Secret conspirator. Where was the backup light switch on a 64 Barracuda?
66 Barracuda.
Is it 6? Okay, 66.
Backup light switch on that car is on.
Is it on trans?
No, that only has the single pin that grounds the
the neutral safety.
Right, for neutral safety switch.
Okay.
No, I'm wanting to say it's on the steering column. 66 Barracuda. It's not. Well, for the life of me, I don't remember where it is. Oh, wait. Well, it depends now. If it's a column shift car, it's on the steering column. If it's a console shift car, it's under the lid of the console.
Okay.
Let's see. Mark says he also has a 78 Z28 drag car. I can't drive both at the same time. Bro, get rid of the Camaro. Keep the Malibu and get rid of the Camaro.
Yeah, just drop the Camaro off at my house. I'll take care of it for you.
Malibu is infinitely cooler than.
Yeah,
Zero saying, anyone else here see the dude with the 3800 installed on a Fiero? Didn't those come with 3800s?
No, they came with like a 28. There was V6 ones.
Right, that's 60 degree. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the 2.8, but yeah, the 38, and I've seen people put the 3/8s in them with the supercharger.
I was going to say the Grand Prix motor.
Yeah.
That could be bad. That could be a badass car. Travis Moore, what car could last 1 million miles with regular maintenance?
There's been lots of them. I mean, top of the thing is like an old 6-cylinder Falcon or an old Toyota pickup truck or.
Yeah, there's no end to the number of cars that will make it 1 million miles.
The more simple it is, the better chance it has.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the car can be the car itself, like the engine, transmission, rear, the important parts with regular maintenance and expected repairs.
Right.
Can definitely go the distance.
Mm-hmm.
It's the stuff that's around the car that makes people give up on them.
The doors fall off and the windows stop working.
Exactly. That's what killed most of the cars in, let's say from the 60s and 70s, right?
They just wore out.
Yeah, the engine. People are like, oh, you only get 80,000 miles, 100,000 miles out of those cars. That's because people just gave up on them, right?
That's all they had.
Right.
That's all they had.
They just gave up on them. Those cars, they'd all still be on the road today if people just took care of, the little things that were going. It's like shock absorber breaks off. Like, oh, it's too much work. Let's just junk this thing. It was always stupid little things, and that's how we got screaming deals back in the day, because you'd find these cars in people's driveways, and it's like, oh, it doesn't run. I was going to the junkyard, $35, and literally you'd buy these cars for $35, bring it back and find out how to crack distributor cap, or the choke was stuck closed, or something that.
And you drive the thing around for months and then sell it, and yeah.
Yes, months. It's like driving around for hours and then sell them.
I can't tell you the amount of Fox Buddy Mustangs and Ford F-100s that I bought for nothing, because they were just like, and then, oh, here it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Send the guy a photo. Thanks.
I told you the story about the GTX. I bought a 78 GTX from BBC Motors in New Jersey. Bought Tempo Brothers competition. They were Chevy guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a 70 GTX there. This is around 1986. Right about 1985, 1986. So among the sea of Chevys, they got a 70 GTX there, and for sale on it. And they had gone down from like $1,500 to like $900. Well, $900 for this. I was a buy on mine. I weren't going to go any lower. So I offered them like $500, like I lowballed them.
All right.
And they were going to go. They went for it because the thing wouldn't start. Right. So I'm out there. I'm talking to the guy who's selling the car. Right. And he's cranking. And it's just barely running. It's just right. So I lowballed him. Whatever I offered him, he took it because it wasn't going to run. Right.
Right.
I opened the hood. I grabbed the distributor. I yanked it. I pulled it like that. Got in.
Put some timing in it. Thanks.
Throw it away. That car became famous. That was in Muscle Car magazine. It was before I actually started doing magazine work.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from Muscle Car magazine came and shot a thing at Fountain Avenue.
Okay.
And
was it the races? Yeah.
And I was owning the place like that night. So he did the story about me and that car. And then, but anyway, okay. There's actually a picture of me laying under the car, tightening the chain on the motor mount, the driver's side motor mount.
Because the chain was stretching. Yeah. And for you young people, that's what we have to used to do when the rubberized motor mounts were all shit.
Yep.
And you had a car with a lot of torque. You chained it or cabled it down on the driver's side right to the frame.
Let's see. 95 turbo Stying. This is right up your alley.
Okay.
347 stroker turbo, has a Holly dual sync dizzy, 6AL. He must be Australian. 6AL box, Holly standalone ECU. I set the timing. It's been good for months. Now I'm getting a rattling noise under load like detonation. I am going to say he's probably get some oil in the combustion chambers.
Yeah.
I would say, what do the plugs look like? Have you pulled the plugs on it?
Yeah, if the plugs are black, you got oil in them.
I would say you've probably either crushed a ring land or broken a ring, and that's giving you detonation. He's saying no oil burning, just had motor built. Pull the plugs, man.
Yeah, pull the plugs and see what they look like, and
we'll be on here for at least another hour and a half. So go to the car, pull the plugs, and take a look at them.
We'll be here for you. We're not going anywhere.
That is assuming that your gas is good.
Right.
You don't have a bad load or it's sat for a long time. That's assuming you got good fuel in this thing.
Mark Sauvé, there was a cab driver in Montreal about 10 years ago that was still driving his 1963 Plymouth Fury with 2.5 million miles on, 2.5 million kilometers on.
A kilometer is like what, 3 feet?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it's like it's 1,300,000 miles probably. But yeah, I wouldn't want to ride in that. I've been because in the previous life I flew all over, went all over, did everything, been everywhere twice. The absolute worst place to get into a cab or an Uber is in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Really?
Oh God! Because what happens? The Uber drivers are only there because when like the oil rig shut down, they needed some kind of income.
Okay.
And whatever basically is it in the shape of a car they'll pick you up at the airport for and take you to the hotel. And they're mostly old Crown Vics and things like that. But I was in one that was so rough the guy had to hop out and let me out the back door because the inside door had to open. And it wasn't an old cop car. It was just that worn out.
Shreveport isn't exactly an economic powerhouse these days. I've seen videos of Shreveport in its current state.
Some parts of it aren't bad. I mean, if you don't mind, living in a, that kind of economy, kind of, not real flourishing, but still there. They have some nice casinos, a couple of nice hotels because gambling's legal, so they have a couple decent casinos. It's not bad, but it's not. No, it's no Dallas or anything like that. No.
Zero's mom had shoulder surgery. Give our best to your mom, man.
Yeah.
Zero's mother is our mother. That's how I look at it.
Yes.
Any mother of Zero's is a mother of mine. Even if I'm older than she is. Yes, we use freedom units. That's right.
Yes. Now, if you think, well, no, I won't go there. Never mind.
These kilometers and stuff.
Yeah.
Speak English or die. Turbo Stying, if you crack a ringland, would that cause the motor to have a gallop during cranking? Yes. It would.
Mm-hmm.
See, the old guys are sharper than you think.
Yeah, and just because the motor was new doesn't mean if you didn't build it yourself, they may have just put in X rings and then you put some boost to them and they just go
Yep. There's so many different things.
So many things. Yeah, we got to look at the plugs. Did you? Because the lady that was on here last week looking at the Impala, she sent an email to me. I forwarded it to you. Did you get a chance to look at that car?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a little rough.
Did you give her guidance?
No, I was waiting to see if you've seen the same things that I seen on it.
I didn't see anything at all.
It was. Yeah, I sent it to your Uncle Tony's Garage at Gmail.
I'll have Kathy show me when we get back to the
But
house.
it's if she's on tonight, I can't remember her name, but Runaway, basically.
Okay, Turbo Stying is saying plug has a little bit of soot on it, like running a little rich. One plug or all of them? Because one plug running rich is showing you that you have very low compression in that cylinder. Like if you drop down to like under like let's say all the plugs are even, but you pull out one and it's richer than the other. And this is not talking about a port injected engine where you could have one injector that's just hanging open and flooding the cylinder. But assuming that you've got an even plug read, you've got one that's sooty, you'll generally find that cylinder is going to have less than 90, 80, 70 psi compression.
And that will mess with the turbo motor bad. It'll make it all kinds of racket and everything else.
All right, he's saying the reason he asked is because the motor cranks strong, but the plugs do have a little bit of soot on them, nothing oil related. Very vague, man. Very vague.
Yeah.
Too many things could be. Blue collar worker, I've seen so many built engines with the wrong ring gap in it. Well, that's the thing. If you buy an engine, right, and you have an engine built, and then afterwards you decide you want to add a turbocharger or some sort of power adder, you've already got you're shot in the foot already because the ring gaps are going to be the rings are
Too
going to be
tight.
gapped, right? The rings are going to be gapped for normally aspirated. Now you throw a boost at this thing, anything over let's say 7 or 8 psi, and now ring gap becomes a real issue. You get up like 12, 15 psi, ring gap is everything. So,
And if he built it for you as a turbo motor and he built it loose, it could be getting a little too loose if they use cheap.
could be,
Yeah.
could be. But that's one of the reasons why I always recommend build it looser than, because you can make those changes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Olive is here. What's happening, Olive? I think I had one of the mini strokes.
Something little corpuscle popped and
I get lost. I'm reading the comments and I forget that we're on.
oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, we're missing pronounces it better, but okay.
Sarah saying Mark Sauvé, thanks. Seriously, we needed that. KPH while watching F1 always sounds insane. Like, how fast is that? 470. Yeah, right. I know. I know. The thing always that gets me is like when you're watching a video and they give you the specs on something and they give you the weight in kilograms and stuff. And it's like, why? Why can't you just give it to us in pounds and ounces? What's a frick is a kilogram? How do you figure that one out?
I don't know. 2 to 1 kilograms, I always figure is a rough estimate. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
2 to 1 what? 2 pounds?
Yeah.
So
1,000
double the
kilograms
number
is
of
500
kilograms?
pounds. Roughly. I could be way off. Frenzy 1. Is hot rodding dead? What 17-year-old can afford what some people want for rotted out, no engine, etc., classic car, truck, stuff like that. Yes, that's why you have to get creative. That's why the whole kind of Mission Impossible thing.
Exactly, Mission Improbable.
Improbable, yeah.
Hot rod stuff that nobody wants, which makes you much cooler than them.
Yes.
Right? Pick something that nobody would work with, right? And make it fast. And do it with like unorthodox parts. You know what I mean? Like just do it cheap, just make sure it functions well. And as long as it functions well, people will respect it. And if it functions well enough to beat something, you're way ahead of the game.
The one truck that I built that everyone, when I got it, they were like, "What you want that thing for?" When I was done with it, it was an 82 F250 regular cab, 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
Had the body shop painted metallic blue. Had a 400, which there's no love for a 400.
Nobody loves a 400.
But this is when I lived in Vegas, so I took it to my buddy at the machine shop, and he put a nice bottom end on it with some pistons that went all the way up to the top of the block. And then, they got the big heads. They're L-shaped, but they're still okay. And a cam and a 4-barrel intake. And, the thing didn't rev past 5,500, but going down the freeway, 60 miles an hour, you let off the gas and the whole thing just, this thing had so much torque.
Right.
And I built a cool exhaust for it. And everyone's like, "That's a cool truck, man."
Because it's unlikely. And it's fun. It's fun. Building
Yes.
stuff that's unlikely is fun. Straight Bullet, Mission Improbable update and future schedule, please. I'm going to wait until the weather actually turns a little bit. I haven't done anything with it. It was just sitting here in front of the shop. I'm just going to wait until the weather gets a little less muggy because right now trying to chase ETs when you got like 100% humidity in it,
It's not. You're just
ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's like trying to drive it through a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Dickie Farley, when I was 17, I bought an 86 El Camino with under 100,000 miles. Bought it with money from my weekend job. Yeah, so that's those El Caminos. That's that G-body El Camino. Yeah.
And the Caballero.
Yes, the GMC Caballero. I had one. The two-tone, the brown on brown Caballeros. I had one of those.
Yeah. End of time. Knock on doors to find the deals.
Yes, and then the best advice anyone ever gave me was an old friend of mine, and she said, "Look, if you're looking for project cars, you have to go into the back neighborhoods."
Yep, that's where you used to find all the Mopars. Or you'd find them in the projects, like in the 70s. You'd find, because what happened was they built those cars with like all the colors, purple and orange and like all these crazy colors and everything, and that went out of fashion as far as like the general public goes right away. By like 73, it was like
two years later, it's on the second and third owner.
Yeah. So those cars all ended up in the projects. They ended up in the hood. They ended up in trailer parks. And that's where you found all of the coolest cars. If you were looking for a 446 pack or a Hemi something in like 1978, you went to the hood, and that's where those cars were.
Yeah. Take a buddy and a gun and some cash, and you can get yourself a good cheap car, bring a trailer because you don't want to trust it, and then get the hell out of town. But yeah, that's where you can find them.
Okay. Sioi. Oh God, I can't pronounce that name. Louis. I'm sorry, bro.
Correct us if you have to.
Just tore down a C302 from an 88 Cougar. There's a chip at the end of one of the pistons by the cam. Is it toast, or can I ignore it since it's below the piston rings? The skirt. You have a chunk missing out of the skirt.
Chip on the skirt, common on 302s. Yeah.
Make sure it's not cracked. Make sure there isn't a crack. Like, so if you're missing a little bit of skirt, okay, just make sure there's no crack that extends from it. And if you don't see a crack, just dress it out. Like take an emery cloth or a file and just smooth it out so there's no sharp edges and send it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. That little bit of tiny bit of weight on the end of the skirt, so you're not going to.
You'll never in a zillion years miss it.
No.
Thunderbird. Either of you gentlemen had experience with ignition coils going fritzy when it's hot outside? Our 92 Crown Vic has been misfiring. I think it's been crazy hot here. That's my guess anyway. Heat, no. Humidity, yes.
And it's a lot more plug wire related.
No, I've seen coils, because the coil gets dirty just from regular use. Then you get a few humid days, that dirt becomes muddy.
Goo.
And the spark finds its way.
Oh, across the goo.
Across the goo.
Okay.
Oh wait, he mistyped. He meant at the end of the cylinder wall. Oh wait, let's go back and read this again. I think it's crazy. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Oh.
The cam.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Chip at the end of one. Oh, one of the cylinders by the cam. Oh.
Ew.
Depends on the chip. Now, on those engines, on the 302, it has a very deep skirt, right? Like okay, the bottom of the bore, not the skirt of the piston, but at the bottom of the bore, there's a lot of overhang, right? Where what is that? About 3/4 of an inch, at least, right? Yeah. If it's at the very bottom of the bore and it doesn't go anywhere, so how do I picture this now?
Because it was.
So here's the cylinder, okay? Here's the cylinder, and right about at this level is where the water jacket is, and then this overhangs is just dead, right? Only the skirts come in contact with that. If the chip is anywhere down here, doesn't extend up, and you don't see a crack, remember it's important. I'm inspecting for a crack. It's inconsequential. Don't worry about it.
Right, and that probably happened from a seized motor trying to hammer that piston out of there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Why I know? Because I've done that once or twice.
Those engines are fragile. I do like them.
But yes,
I'm not going to say anything bad about them, but they are fragile.
Yeah.
They break easy. They split down the middle easy.
They have a definite envelope of happy. And if you go beyond that, you're. My first reaction when I saw it after knocking the pistons out was it was toast. But then I saw a few blocks, that had it on eBay.
Yeah.
Second guess. Yeah, just be like you said, be double diligent that there's no cracks and water's not going to come out because you build a motor and it gets hot. And at one time, water starts squirting out there, it's done.
Yeah, those engines have a exceptionally deep. I can't think of any other engine that's got as much overhang at the bottom of the bore. What other engine is like that? The Buicks are like that to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it, man.
Yeah.
You're fine. Let's see. What about somebody was asking about ionization in the distributor cap?
It's a thing. It's not
It
vented.
is a thing.
Yeah, it's not vented.
Okay. It's Mark Sauvé.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have an ionization issue.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Well, so people are piling in to help him out with that. Let's go back here. What?
A gun and cash? Yep. You got to come way up if you want the good deals. People understand.
Russ Peter Derelict is saying it's common to see where people have ground away the Windsor skirts for strokers. Yeah, and actually the stroker is where you need the skirt the most. You know what I mean? Now the piston's going like that
way further down. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's really not that big of a deal. But again, we're only going by a description.
Right.
From somebody who's really not engine savvy.
We're giving you general engine advice from thousands of miles away. So
Right. Using your description to go by. So you have to always got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. I would have somebody, you have to have somebody local to you that does engines. And I'm sure nobody's going to charge you to just take a peek. You know what I mean? So.
Or just when you go, spend $100 to have it hot tanked, and the guy will go, "Oh, this is okay," or "This is not okay." Yeah, you'll get some old guy with his 2 cents, and you'll be like, "Okay, thanks, bud."
Thomas Joseph wants to know what's a good mild cam for the 5.3. Light chop, if any.
Go with the sloppy stage 1 Elgin. It's inexpensive.
Okay.
So it's an Elgin cam, so it's not like a name cam, so you save half the money because it says Elgin on the box instead of brand X. And it'll still run stock on the computer reasonably well. You'll know you'll have a little cam in it, and you'll be happy.
Well, there you go. That's an excellent recommendation. Sloppy.
A sloppy stage 1.
Sloppy stage 1.
Not stage 2 because that's 600 lift, and then you're going to have idle problems and your knee tuning and stuff like that. But if you get a stage 1, which is like 5 1/4 lift, a little more duration on the nice roller cam, the computer will be happy with it, and you can just go.
Do you know offhand what the LSA is on that?
No.
Okay. Thomas Joseph is going to run a Holly EFI. That's his territory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, I guess he's got the spec for it.
Oh, okay.
Is that the sloppy stage 1?
Yeah, 560.
Okay.
Yeah.
114. Oh yeah, that's a smooth cam.
Yeah. That's ideal for what you're describing.
That'll idle like it'll sound like a dead stock engine.
Yeah, Thomas Joseph Elgin. Yeah, they did. Yeah, because like I said, if you go to stage 2, then you're at 600 lift, and then just that little bit things change, and it gets a little bit more aggressive with the.
What's your maximum lift before you got to start trimming the valve guides on those?
Well, you want to stay with on the LS motors. You don't want to go over 600 because if you go over 600 lift, then they're grinding that backside of the cam at 0.
Okay.
So then you're having to change push rod lengths and everything else like that because the lifter's going to go further down
Okay.
into the bore after 600. So that's why the stage 2 Sloppy Mechanics, the 600, same cam I got in the Ranger. Stock push rod, stock lifter, stock everything, and But I've seen that stage 1 cam in it does wake them up. It's not going to have the
It's not going to be very punchy, but it's going to be a very smooth cam.
Yeah, and you'll pick up all the way across and stuff like that. Yeah, you're not going to have that 3/4 race cam lump,
right?
Because that drives computers crazy anyway. Even if whatever you're using, the stock one or a Holly. But yeah, if you just have every car you want to drive every day and enjoy, perfect.
JMD, how about a favorite carb for a stock 66 327? If it's stock and you're driving it, throw an Edelbrock 600 on there and just be very happy. Let's see. Super Satellite Garage.
Nice name.
Yes. Super Satellite. Yes.
Super Satellite.
Super Inga. You still haven't seen that movie?
No.
Dog is on Super.
No,
Super
a slacker.
Inga. Okay. Question for rear end. 72 Mopar 8 1/4. Is it wise to weld 271 rear gear to them posi? I say not a good idea. Thoughts? I mean,
if you want to throw the gears away once you have a problem, yeah, who cares?
It'll work. I mean, welding the spiders on an 8 1/4 is as good as welding the spiders on anything else. You've only got a 271 gear. I don't know. You're not going to accomplish very much. But gears for those rear ends, they use them in Dakotas. They use them in Jeeps. I forget what the cutoff year is, but you can go to a junkyard and you can get
pull the third member and get a 380 or whatever.
Yep.
That would give you more results than welding the spiders on a freeway geared car.
Yeah, look up the interchange and then find a Dakota or a Jeep that's got a sure grip and an 8 1/4, and just take the guts out of that and swap it into yours. Let's see. JMD is done messing with his Holly.
Put it in a box, send it to me. I'll take it off your hands.
Yes, we'll take it off your hands.
Yeah. You just want that Holly out of your life completely? Yeah, send me an email. I'll send you an address, and I'll take good care of it.
I've done a bunch of videos on this channel that cover like literally every single issue you can have with a Holly carburetor.
Unless it's warped, you can.
Even when it's warped, I've showed you how to fix them when they're warped. So there's really nothing that you can't fix on that. But if you want effortless,
yeah, send it to either one of us.
Yeah, and throw an Edelbrock on there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Travis Moore is talking about water vapor can cause ionization of the distributor. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that's one of the important things about a PCV system, because now any street engine, in my opinion, right, should have a PCV, because one of the things a non-PVC system, something that's just vented but without active evacuation, is that you will get a lot of condensation build up inside the engine. Now that condensation, the distributor is the high point. Okay, so the condensation will migrate. The water that's in the engine, in the crankcase, will migrate up the distributor and eventually gather in the cap. So if you've got a situation where you've got a lot of very short trips, okay, so the engine is only going to be used, let's say 3 miles, 5 miles at a clip, and you never get a chance to burn off whatever water vapor, whatever condensation happens in the engine. Well, eventually that water, that moisture, migrates to the distributor, and like that was really common. I remember on the Chevys or any of the GMs, pre-HEI, or even after HEI,
mm-hmm.
the vacuum advance would rust itself solid.
Because the moisture in the unlike metals that just corrosion.
Yep. And what that is that's moisture gravitating up from the crankcase and gathering up there, and so PCV very important.
Jimmy Luce, everybody talks about getting a high stall converter when it comes to performance. When is the time you would want a low stall converter for towing? Question mark.
Fuel economy, really. Even for towing, depending on the load, like a mild converter, like a 2,500, 3,000 RPM converter, would help to get a heavy load moving. So it just depends. See, it just depends. Mostly, for a tighter converter, your aim is efficiency, right? It's fuel economy, it's efficiency. That's what you're after for with a tight converter. But I would say in certain applications, a looser, not a race converter, not a 4,000 RPM converter, but a converter on the looser side is a help if you got to tow something like a 5, 6, 7,000 pound trailer
to get that first inertia to 0 to 2 miles an hour going.
Yep.
Take that one from Bob Bump there.
Bob Bump. Oh, there it is. My man, what's happening? Been learning on your channel through the build. Thanks. You're welcome. Just took my 87 W100 with a 76 440 transplant down the road. Jazzed. Electronic ignition. Sorry, that's okay. 850 Brawler seems okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
see, we help people.
Well, that's how. And then, like, an 87 W100, most people would go, but he's like, this is my truck. I can make it cool. Now, you see this dude going down the road, and he buzzes by you with a big block buzzing. You're like, oh, that's cool. So, yes.
Loud pipes save lives. I miss the good old days when there were starter and alternator shops, water pump shops, radiator shops, transmission shops, etc. It's a shame everything is a throwaway today.
Mm-hmm.
You are the shop. It's that simple. You are the shop. Every single thing that those shops did, you can do yourself. You can learn all those skills yourself. And then become amazingly valuable to everybody around you. You know what I mean? Learn how to rebuild an alternator.
Especially a year from now when shit's crazy.
Seriously.
Yes.
learn how to build stuff or fix stuff.
Yeah.
Be the transmission guy. Oh, please forget about it.
Oh, or just be like the starter alternator guy. That's invaluable. That's going to be invaluable.
Yep.
Before you can. Yeah.
The thing with that is that you don't even need like a true alternator shop or starter alternator place would have lathes and everything. But if you have a large enough selection of cores, you really never have to worry about that. You know what I mean? Because it comes with the armature.
I need this part. Oh, the fins are broken. Yeah, let me get this one. Yeah. And all the two to make ones and cores and things like that. That's
Eric Nearing. I got an engine that got full of water. Had valve noise before it did was ran. Didn't know the water was in there. Now it's got no noises and great oil pressure. Could it have cleaned it? Yeah. So what'll happen is the water. Okay. So let's just say somehow or another you ended up with a quart or so of water in your oil, not antifreeze, water. Okay. Because antifreeze is different. You pull the dipstick, it'll look like a milkshake, okay? But what'll happen is, as you're driving down the road, the crankcase temperature, the bottom of the pistons and everything is above 212 degrees. So even if the overall engine temperature is only like 190 degrees, the surface of the pistons, the top of the connecting rods, all of that stuff is over 212 degrees. And what that'll do is, as that water in the oil hits that, it'll separate, turn into steam, get sucked into. So it's quite possible. Like if you take five quarts of regular oil, throw a quart of water in there with the oil, right? Now run the engine, drive it 100 miles down the road. At the end of the 100 miles, you probably won't have any trace of water in there at all. So
Steam clean from the inside.
steam cleaning it from the inside.
Now, if your engine runs fine, do not.
Well, yeah, well, Eric, you know, saying boat engine, water. Yes, I'm telling, yeah, and that's how I know this, because I did a lot of marine stuff when I was in New York. I'm from Staten Island. My house, my shop was only like 3 miles from the marina, so I was always working on somebody's boat, and it was very common that you'd have water in the oil for whatever reason, and it burns off as long as it's just water.
Now, here's a question I haven't heard of before. Shoehorn Jackson. Have you heard of using a Chevy motor with a Dodge 340 crank?
No,
No, I never have either. I don't.
no, completely different engines. They wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Very worst milkshake ever. The engine runs great. Yeah, Eric, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, antifreeze is a whole different story. You get antifreeze in a crankcase, you're done,
bearings are
right?
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because antifreeze doesn't boil away like that. KJ Kylie, Tony, what's up with the poor Belvedere? We were talking about that earlier. I was working on it Sunday. I got it. It's up on jack stands, and I was just about to start. Scrap guy comes around. This is Sunday morning. Scrap guy comes around. I had a 440 block in the back I wanted to get rid of. He says, "Can you give me a hand getting on the truck?" I said, "Sure." So I went around, and he grabbed one half. I grabbed the other half. I leaned up and forward and twisted. And when I did, I snapped something in the middle of my back. So I've been on my ass for the last 2 days. I'm up and running now, though.
And KJ, he happens to own probably the baddest 3.9 V6 in all of Pennsylvania.
You did his, you did the computer
Allegedly,
one?
yeah.
Allegedly.
And if he doesn't mind, we can talk about that for a minute. But that's, you know, his. If he doesn't mind, he'll let us know, and I can tell you the story about it. So,
Spitfire Mike is saying he tried to buy a rebuild kit for a master brake cylinder for 91 Dodge D250, and not one auto parts store had one or could get one. Good days are past. Horde.
yeah.
You know, you'll find it. You hunt far enough, you'll find it. Somebody's got it, but when you find it by 2 or by 3, and this way you've got it on the shelf. Travis Moore. My dad got a kit to use a Ford single barrel carburetor on his old Dodge Dart. At the time, I think I was too young to know a lot back then, but I think it was the olive green one. Carburetor or car?
The car, because yeah, those Ford single barrels are all that cast, you know, gray.
Okay, all right.
And those little one barrels are, I like them, both the Holly and the Carter. I like both of them.
So I'm going to bet that your dad's Dart was pre-66. It was like a 63, 64, 65 with the mechanical linkage. Probably if you were going to do that Ford swap.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Eric Ewing is saying Rock Auto is where he got his rebuild kits. Yeah.
For brake cylinders? Oh, okay.
You know, the thing is that those parts are so cheap. You could still get like master cylinders and wheel cylinders for like, I mean, $25 for a master cylinder, like $12 for a wheel cylinder.
Yeah.
Rock Auto is good. And the thing is, it's like you're getting the same rubber like inside the rebuilt ones as you would if you ordered just one to rebuild yours. So you might as well just spring for the rebuilt and be done with it.
Yeah, and save the parts store run because it's the same damn part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they'll mark up because they have a building. You got to pay people, you know.
Let's see. Mexican Spec is talking about the fuel. The fuel pump. Oh no! Okay. You're not. There is no rebuild kit for that type of pump. Those are sealed. Those are brushless motors. They're sealed. There's nothing you can. But those pumps are so cheap. Like you don't have to buy the whole canister. You can find just the pump and just replace the pump.
Yeah, you get the Kelso pumps or whatever to replacement, and
Yep.
and if you get a new sock with it, you're good.
And they're fairly universal too. There's only like 5 or 6 different electric pumps in like common circulation. Like the canisters and stuff that they put them in is different, but the pumps
are all the
themselves
same.
are fairly universal. Okay. Oh, he's talking to Mexican Spec about it going.
Yeah.
There's a check valve beyond the pump. It's not the pump. It's what the pump plugs into that keeps the fuel from flowing back.
Yeah, the check valve's just good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Strato, what oil should I use in my 8 3/4 rear? Gear oil, 90 weight gear oil,
75, 90 weight.
75, 90, something like that. Just regular gear oil. If it's a sure grip unit, use the GM Posit Traction additive.
The stuff that smells like fish.
Because it is fish. It's
Yeah,
fish oil.
fish oil.
Yeah. Yeah, any auto parts store, just get the Posit Traction additive.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Woodell, in your experience, which aftermarket parts sellers have you had the best and worst luck with quality of parts?
You know,
Rock Auto was both.
Yeah, you Rock Auto's a crapshoot. 99% of the stuff I get from Summit, if it's not, it's not coming in a white box from China, like the Speedmaster Pro. If you're buying the cheapest stuff on Summit, it's garbage.
Yes.
If you're buying decent stuff because it's your car, it's usually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right. Just avoid things in a white box. As far as like hit and miss, Rock Auto is the ultimate hit and miss. 90% of the time, it's great. And then 10% of the time, it's like they sent you completely
the wrong garbage
thing.
Yeah. Eric Nearing, it's a great show. Just want to know your thoughts. When running a mechanical and electric fuel pump together, wise or not?
Yes, wise. It's good. Go ahead. You any thoughts on that?
It can't hurt to put a little pump back by the tank, especially if you got an 18-foot car or a pickup truck.
Like a booster.
Yeah, just to send it to the mechanical pump up front. Yes.
A lot of people add an electric pump these days because of the evaporation quality of gasoline. Because what will happen is you're a carbureted car now. It's not a fuel injected car, carbureted car, or a mechanical fuel pump. What will happen is you'll shut the car off and it'll sit for, let's say, 2-3 days. When you go to restart it, all of the fuel that was in the carburetor evaporated. So you got to crank it to get the fuel back up and fill the carburetor again so the car runs. So a lot of people have taken to putting electric pumps in the back, small electric pump, just to get the fuel just for the initial start. And then, of course, if you're pressurizing, if you're keeping the fuel pressurized against the pump, there's less chance of vapor locking from the pump. Because even like I'm going to explain to you. Most vapor lock with carbureted cars happens when the fuel in the pump boils. So the fuel in the pump is going to be running, it is the same temperature as the outside of the engine. So if the outside of the engine is at like 220, 230 degrees, the coolant temperature might be lower than that, but the outside, the block surface, a couple of degrees hotter, it's enough to boil the alcohol, the ethanol. It's enough just to boil the gasoline, even if you're using non-ethanol gas, in the fuel pump, and that gives you a vapor lock. Well, if you've got a small pump in the back, keeping that pressurized, keeping a fresh flow of fuel into that pump, you have much less chance of having a vapor lock as you're going down the road.
And that's why your carbureted car now sits in your closed garage. It stinks like gas. Even though there's no leaks.
Yes.
That's what, yeah.
Jeff Hutchins, unless the diaphragm ruptures in the mechanical pump and the electric pump fills the cranky is full of fuel, bad news. I have seen many mechanical pumps that
fill the crankcase.
The engine will run. It'll make enough pressure for the engine to run, but the diaphragm is letting fuel into the You're
driving and your fuel gauge is going, what the hell's going on? You're watching your fuel gauge go down, and then you pull a dipstick and there's 24 quarts in there. But the engine's nice and clean at that point.
Very clean. Very clean. Speed Demon, Rock Auto is a nightmare if you're trying to return or exchange anything. I know. I have a timing change set in there that I ordered for I don't remember what it was, but they sent the timing change set that was just like not even remotely close. And it's spark plugs. I keep ordering Autolite 86s, and they keep sending me things that don't even resemble. So.
Yeah, people putting stuff in boxes, they don't have to be scientists.
Yeah, Thumper is saying some parts of gasoline have lower boiling points than the 173 of ethanol. Hey, man, give us a shout out next time you're there on Tim Pool's. Mark Sauvé. To prevent vapor lock, I was told to make sure your fuel lines are always going uphill to the carb, then down. Then up may give you.
I don't know. I've had lots of big block Ford pickup trucks where it doesn't matter. They just get hot and go down the freeway and they'll vapor lock. And
yeah, well, it depends where it's vapor locking from, because it's vapor locking from the pump, which is the most likely place for it to vapor lock. It doesn't matter. You could have whoop-de-doos.
Or you're vapor locking your carburetor. It's starting to boil in the balls,
yes.
which will happen if you're just cruising and it's just really hot out. Landon Klesson, I'll let you.
Thank you, Landon.
It's a super chat.
If I ran fuel with ethanol in my Opel GT, you could watch it boil in the carb. Yes, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Freemaster is saying stock air-cooled VW fuel line goes up, down, up to the carb for a reason. It's possible, but I'm not saying no. I'm not saying, oh no, that's pointless. What I'm saying is, if you've got it vapor locking in the pump, which is the most likely place for it to vapor lock, it doesn't matter if it's going up, down, or otherwise.
Well, they did that. There's a reason they did that in the Volkswagens, because you have to remember the tank's in the front, and it's a tiny little pump, and that little dippity-doo is like a pee drain in your toilet.
Okay.
When you shut the vehicle off, the fuel doesn't drain all the way back, 17 feet to the and back, and it keeps that little bit of fuel. So when you start it up, there's fuel available. That's what I was told.
Well, that makes sense.
By a German engineer. Oh, yes, the Volkswagens, we got this, and it says oomph in the fuel. So you got the cranks, you got the fuel. It's good.
It's good.
He might have been full of shit, so.
When I was in New York, so this is totally off topic. Right? When I was in New York, I had a favorite bar. This place was called Kilmeyer's. Okay. And it was this place was just freaking awesome. It was an authentic German, right? It was down off of like in an industrial abandoned area of Staten Island. Okay. but it was a genuine German place, kind of high end.
Mm-hmm.
And it was owned by 3 German guys, or Jews rather, three Jewish guys.
Mm-hmm.
But the cook, this guy named Uwe. Uwe. He was like 90 years old. He was an actual Nazi.
Okay.
But I mean, like a Nazi.
Yeah.
Right? But he worked for the 3 Jewish guys.
You don't like it, I kill you.
So if you sat at the bar, so if you went and you sat in the dinner part of it, like the restaurant part of it, everything was kind of normal, right? But if you sat at the bar, you had no choice what food you ordered. If you wanted food, you tell the bartender what you would, you wanted food, and then Uwe would make you a meal based on what you were drinking.
Nice.
It was great. It was great. Let's see. Wayne Buzzle. I was wondering what engine your Dart Swinger had originally. It was a 318. Original 318 car. Doodles, what does that change? Front engine fuel tank in the back versus back engine and fuel tank in the front?
Not much. I mean, the fuel tanks, the only thing in the Volkswagen, the fuel tank's higher than the engine.
Yes.
So gravity feeds backwards. In most traditional cars, the tank is lower than the engine. The other way around, for some reason. You'd have to ask a Nazi.
Yes. Find a Nazi and ask him. Uwe.
Find foot in that and ask him, why you do this?
He used to make these things called frickin'. I used to drink Spaten Optimator. That was my thing. It's the blackest of black beers. You have to chew it, okay?
Okay.
And
it's warm and you have to chew it. It's like.
Oh, it's just awesome. It's just awesome, right? And Uwe used to give me these things, the fricadelles. He used to make these fricadelle is this giant dry meatball. Like it was this freaking big, just dry. Okay,
yeah.
Oh, it was just perfect.
Perfect with that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm. Oh, please. Stray Bullet, fuel is not fighting the brutal acceleration G's in a rear engine car. Brutal acceleration G's in a stock Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Speaking of that, since they're talking for themselves.
Yes.
Have you owned a Bug?
Many.
For like a day a week, or was it something you drove for
a couple of days, here and there? Okay, so now you got to go back to the middle 1970s.
Okay.
On Staten Island, right? So Staten Island wasn't completely built out the way it currently is, right? It was just a few years after the bridge went up. Mm-hmm. So we had lots of open areas, like these woods and shit. And right near my house was a place that was called the Sand Pits. So it was like, let's say a 300, maybe 400 acre, like still wooded area with like sand, with a sand pit in the middle of it, right? So people used to take cars and do, they would do the insurance jobs, right?
Okay, that's where you put them.
That's where they went. Mm-hmm. So we would find these cars that people would dump, right? And we'd get them running. So, we'd have
be in the middle of the woods, like with somebody's stolen
12, 13, 14 years old. And this is how we learned like the basics, right? And then we would sell parts off those cars too, like radiators. You know what I mean? So, make a long story short, that area was littered with Volkswagens. Okay. Volkswagens everywhere, Bugs everywhere. So we would go in the woods, grab one, get it running, take the body off of it, and then blast around until we broke the front end.
Until the pan broke.
Yeah. So my earliest mechanical, mayhem memories were all based on Volkswagen Bugs.
Oh,
and,
nice.
and the ones with the throttle cable would always be broken. We would run them over our shoulder. So whoever was driving and shifting, drove and shifted, and whoever was sitting shotgun would operate the throttle.
Yeah, because there's cables down that little tube that always, be a rust or breaker. Yeah.
I had a blue 62 that had a cracked block, and it would you just fill the crankcase with oil, and the oil would just like drip out. I had this thing for a few days. Okay. Then remember, it's like I'm like 15 now. You know what I mean? Like
Anthony, where'd you get this car? It's gone in 2 days.
We would keep them in the neighborhood. Park them around the block, and say your parents didn't know you had it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a blue 60. I'll never forget this one. It was a blue 62, and it had a crack. So if you just let it sit there overnight, the block would be empty. So you'd find oil here or there, throw it in there, and then drive it around for a couple hours. But the thing with that one was, as you would drive it, it would catch fire.
Because all the oil's dumped on the exhaust.
So you'd be driving along, right? Doing your best you can to avoid the cops and make sure your parents or your neighbors didn't see you, and all of a sudden, the rearview mirror would go orange for a couple of seconds, and then it would go out. You just do not to stop. You have to keep going so the wind blows the fire out.
Right, because if you stop, you just got to get out of the car and let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For Speeder Derelict, my moment of shame of VW Baja bug out accelerated my 85 GMC Caballero with a 4.3 V6.
Doodles is saying some people are mad at me in the comments because apparently Kathy liked that the swinger. No, she's like, you're selling it too cheap. And I'm like, no, it's not too cheap. I know what's there. It's a piece of shit. I just want it gone. No, they go for $10,000. I just want to get rid of it. No, she's okay. She wants to get rid of it too, but
she just wants more money.
She wants more money, and I'm like, I don't care. I just don't care. Sean Davidson, did you ever deviate from your Mopar obsession to other brands like Chevy or AMC? I've owned everything, and I've worked with everything. Like there's nothing you can name from that era that I didn't at least own one of or work on for somebody or whatever. But at my core, I've always been a Mopar guy. So no, I never deviated in that respect. You know what I mean? It was like whatever I happen to have was like, hey, it's pretty cool, but it's not a Mopar. Get rid of it, and So yeah, I've always been a Mopar guy. Doodles are saying, let her try to sell it for 10 grand. If she succeeds, let her keep the change. Dude, here's the problem. See, I have a conscience. Okay. I know what that car is made of. I know what's underneath the paint. All right. And I have a conscience, and I cannot, in clear conscience, sell that car for that kind of money. It's that simple. I think, honestly, I think 4,600 is too much, but that's the number. So that's the one we're going to go with. We're zoning out again.
Stephen Childers, what fluid type for a 727 Type F or Dex 3? Haven't found a clear answer.
Dex 3, you can throw Type F in it; it won't hurt it. And so, actually, in the old days, used to sell B&M used to sell special transmission fluid for non-Ford cars, and all it was Ford
Type F, yeah,
right?
The slick shift or whatever they called it.
Yeah, B&M quick shift or,
it
or
was
something
just
like that.
because the
Type F.
The Type F is a thinner hydraulic fluid. That's all it is. And that's all your transmission fluid is hydraulic fluid.
Yeah. Well, the Type F has a shellac in it.
Okay.
For the clutch material that the Ford was using in those days.
Okay.
So that was and that's what they would run. So, but yeah, regular ATF.
Mm.
I found that you can run a torque flight on like literally nearly anything. All right, in a pinch, you're stuck on the side of the road because it leaked out enough that now it's slipping like crazy. Just throw a quart of engine oil in there and go, right? I found the torque flights, I can't speak for all transmissions, but torque flights will run on nearly anything you can throw in there. So,
Yeah, just not oil.
well, you can throw oil in them.
You motor oil?
Yes, I've done it many times. Many times. You're in a pinch, that's all you
Mhm.
got. You
Got to go.
throw it in there. My brother had a Cougar. My brother had, this is going back to when we were teenagers, and he had a Cougar, and that thing slipped like crazy, like couldn't climb the driveway.
Okay.
And I threw a couple of quarts of engine oil in there, and he was able to climb the driveway then.
Because the clutches swelled.
Yeah. So he drove it like that for a little while, and then it started slipping again, and I threw gear oil in it. And then he drove it again. And it lasted for a while. You'd be surprised. It lasted.
It didn't like super overheat from.
No, because the inside of the transmission was so fucking worn out that the thicker fluid
just
did the job.
It just pushed those clutches together a little more than compensated for the worn out clutches. Okay.
Mark is saying the old school way with the powered life of drag racing was type F.
Mm-hmm.
And he still uses it. Ed Nearing, an old guy, once told me if you got a leaky power steering pump, put used motor oil in it. It won't leak no more, and your power steering pump will come back. It works. It does. It works. You know what works too? Brake fluid. Throw a shot glass full of brake fluid in the power steering, and like if you got if the pinion seal on the bottom of the box is leaking, a shot glass of brake fluid in there.
We'll swell that seals up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Works on transmissions too. You got to use more than a shot glass though.
Doodles, question for the both of you. What's the most beautiful muscle car ever made and why?
Is it the 65 Riviera?
Well, the 65 Riviera is a beautiful car, but is it a muscle car? It depends on your definition.
It's a personal luxury car.
Yeah.
Even if you ordered it performance oriented, it's still a personal luxury car. So it's beautiful. So beautiful. There's no question about it, but I wouldn't consider it to be a muscle car.
There's a couple.
That is the most stately looking car.
Yeah, they're beautiful. The designers did a nice job on that. But the muscle cars, there's a few on the list. I think top of the list on pretty much anyone's list, and depends on but it's like a '69 Mustang Fastback.
I was just gonna say '69 Mustang Fastback.
Oh yeah, with the four headlights and those little vents on the hips, on the quarters, and oh yeah.
And a '70 Chevelle.
Oh yeah, the iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, just like I mean, they're just beautiful, beautiful cars. People think automatically because I'm a quote a Mopar guy. I'm automatically going to say, oh, it's a Roadrunner or it's a this or it's that. And that's not. I'm not that Mopar guy. I identify with the engineering, like the design language of the cars, not necessarily the styling, not necessarily. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Brad's Restorations. He's saying hello to us.
Hello, Brad.
He was on Monday night. He sent me pictures. He found a Corvette, like a pale yellow. We cleaned it off and it looked white.
Okay.
But it was a small block. It had the scoops that said 440 on them, but apparently it's a small block car and stuff like that. But it looks like a barn find, and I'm like, I was so jealous.
Where is he? Get it. You need a Mopar in your life.
I have one.
You need two. They get lonely if you don't.
Well, you know what I seen today, and it's not my typical thing, but there was a red, later model red Dodge 2500 pickup, but the Power Wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, with the big bumper and the winch and the, just the tire. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's.
You need many.
I don't need many.
Mexican spec is saying there's a 73 satellite for sale here in Mexico with a V8. Not sure which one yet. It's floor shifted auto. So it's a floor shifted auto, which is Sebring or Sebring Plus. Those are nice cars.
Those are probably a small block 318 car, most
Yeah,
likely.
probably. Almost all of them are.
Yeah.
Zero saying the Lamborghini Miura
Mm.
is the most beautiful car.
That's very taste specific.
Yeah, I don't see it, Zero.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
there's many. I mean, who doesn't love a '67 GTO?
Yes.
And some of the Fairlanes and some Torinos. There's many of them. But if you're talking, in your mind, a pinnacle car.
You talk about a car that has perfect, like in my opinion, perfect muscle car styling, right? Yeah, the '69 Mach 1, the '69 Mustang, the fastback Mustang,
Mm-hmm.
definitely, it's perfect. Like, it's perfect. Every proportion is exactly right.
Yes.
Right?
The long hood, the short, the fastback,
yes.
the concave taillight, yeah, everything.
But talking about muscle car, right? A muscle car. You think of the Chevelle, think of the 70 Chevelle.
Yeah.
Picture an LS6, okay?
Yeah.
Black LS6, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The car is literally a muscle. Every angle.
It's very round and bulky.
Yes, every angle of it looks like it's a freaking brawler.
Yeah.
Right? Now you look at the Charger, like the second generation Charger, 68 to 70. They're beautiful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's something that's maybe too
long.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Where the Chevelle is just
it's that distance, like in a Chevelle, the distance from the very front of the front fender to the bumper is short. In a Charger, it's like it's proportional. Short trunk, the long hood to it's just.
Well, that's the thing with the Chevelle, with the C-pillar, the way the C-pillar
wraps and comes
into
down.
the rear quarters.
It's very organic. Yeah.
Very organic, where the Charger is straight.
Angular,
right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's it. I think I just figured out the difference between that's
organic and angular.
You hit it because the Charger is a combination of organic,
with the Coke bottle sides and
right.
But then the
angular, exactly.
The rear window,
Chevelle, there's nothing angular on the car. Everything is
just a big round bulge.
Organic.
Yeah.
Now that generation of Torino is beautiful too.
Oh yeah.
The fastback Torino.
The fastback, they're. Oh yeah. If anybody has one of those they don't want in their life anymore, please drop it at the house.
Yes. There's a guy.
Everything's. They're styling it in all the round gauges, and the dashes. They're
beautiful.
Yeah,
they're beautiful. There's a guy in my neighborhood that has one. I pass it once a day or twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He keeps it in his driveway. He never drives it. It just sits there in his driveway, and he sits in a folding chair in front of it with the door open, day in and day out.
Just looking at his car, waving at the
weather doesn't make any difference. It's just he's sitting there in his freaking chair with the door open in his Torino.
And he's got probably room in the garage, but he'd have to put his chair outside.
He's just a guy, and he's been sitting out there for years. I'll point them out to you next time.
Okay.
Able D, Tony Art, how do you guys see the classic car market in the midst of this election cycle? I don't really think that the selection has much effect on them. Other than people's attention is really not on cars at the moment because there's so much crazy going on in the government.
Yeah, and when they pull the big deflection that's coming, depending on how markets and we can go on for that for days. How that's all going to slide.
There's much craziness going on, and that's got people's attention. I believe it's going to get much crazier. Let's see. Thumper is saying 69 GTO is number
And
one.
the 7073 Formula Firebird with those two twin scoops. And
They don't do any for me.
I like those.
There are no years of Firebird that I like.
Really?
Like, if the Camaro didn't exist, then I could say yes, right?
Mhm.
But in every year that I could think of every
Camaro's better
incarnation,
looking
the
than the
Camaro is what it's supposed to be, and then the Pontiac was they added stuff to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like okay, here's a Camaro. Now, how do we make this just different enough to put a different nameplate on it? And that's every year of Camaro and Firebird. I see that same thing.
Okay. I think when they went to the F bodies, the Firebird was better looking. But I mean, but they were still blobs. But I get what you're saying. You take a 68 or 69 Camaro versus a 68 or 69 Firebird. There's no contest.
Right. But even again, like, well, again, it's subjective. It's all subjective. It's just that you could see that the Chevy stylists got first crack at what it was going to be. So when they're going to have their corporate meeting, it's like, okay, Chevy guys, what's the Camaro going to look like?
Okay,
And
it's
then,
going to look like
okay,
this. Okay, guys, here's
right.
Yeah, you do something with this here. Yeah.
Here's what the Camaro is going to look like. All right, Pontiac, now make your car not look like that.
Yeah, by change the bumper,
Change
the
it enough.
taillights, and call it yours.
Now, that's not to say I don't like the cars. I mean, I do,
Mhm.
but not. You're comparing them to Camaros, and I just don't see it.
Brad's Restorations found a 69 Fairlane 500 just outside of Redfield, Arkansas. Original car. Hadn't run in years, completely rebuildable. Would not sell. Because he's going to get to it eventually. I'm going to restore that someday. Me and that Torino are going to be reunited. We're going down the freeway.
All right, you're familiar with Weber carburetors, yeah?
Yep.
All right, so hit
Okay.
Cobra guy.
I have a 351 Windsor with Webers. I think I have it tuned well, but in winter, it idles higher. It has 2 more inches of vacuum and runs with more power. Is that normal, or is it my summer tune no good?
You've just got it lean.
Yeah.
You've got it lean. Just I don't know what the calibration is on a Weber, but if it was a Holly or a Edelbrock Carter, half a turn fat on the idle mixture screws, and that should be it.
Right. Yeah, that's because there's more air in the
More
air and colder air in
oxygen.
the you have better air in the winter. It takes advantage of the fuel. Yeah.
Yep. Douglas Self is saying my favorite Mopar muscle is the fuselage era B bodies. I agree, they're beautiful. Also like the Malaysia era B body 2-doors, Plymouth Fury Satellite, Sebring. I'm not crazy about those cars. They're you can see where Chrysler was trying to play catch up to GM, which really Ford in those years. But when you talk about the fuselage, the 71, 72 fuselage B bodies are just absolutely beautiful. The satellite, the 71, 72 satellite Roadrunner body is the most feminine body, right? There isn't a straight line on that car. Everything is beautiful, tapered curves. The only straight lines
and the back end is kind of bubble.
Yeah. It's just beautiful flows. The only awkward part of it is the square wheel openings. Which you say, well, they built this car. It's just one continuous curve, right? And taper everywhere. And then there's a wheel opening. It's like, what happened?
Is that just because they had to stamp it for strength, or who knows what they did that for?
It's just the styling. Like the wheel openings on those cars really stand out. The Charger, the 7170, if you ask me, the 7172 Charger I know everybody loves I know I have a 66, 67. Those are my favorite for reasons having to do with styling. People love the 68 to 70, but if you ask me, the 71, 72 that's where they nailed it. That's why they really got it. Those cars are just freaking beautiful. You know,
the hood's long, but it's low in the front.
They're sleek.
Yeah.
They're sleek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. And then they screwed it up, so 73, 74, it shows you how just tiny changes can wreck a car's
Like
styling.
that weird C-pillar window thing on the 73. Yeah.
The 73, you know what it is? The 73, 74 Charger uses a 71, 72 satellite roof.
Okay.
And they had to disguise it
Oh, with that hideous kind of
with that boomerang shape that's in there, or those louvers.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But the 73, 74 Charger uses a 71, 72 satellite roof. And they changed two things that really screw up the body. And right away, people are going to say, oh, it's the extended bumpers. It's not the extended bumpers. They changed the upper body line. Okay. So on a 71, 72, you got the front body line comes down like this. The rear body line comes out like this, and they cross. Okay, right at the door, front of the door. But in 70 and 73 and 74, they softened it up so they don't cross anymore.
And they kind of got that dip.
They got a dip, and it takes all the sharpness off the edge of the car. And then they made the wheel openings bigger. They raised the wheel openings. I think it was like 1.5 inches front and back.
To do 15-inch tires or something.
Whatever the reason they did it for, and it totally
just whacked everything out.
Just waxed the car.
Pissing off every 73 Charger.
I've owned many of them.
Yeah. I think they're cool, but
Oh God, that hurt. I gotta go out like I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Blue collar worker saying the taillights look better on a 71. Yeah, I agree.
I don't mind the taillights on like the 73. It was very era specific, with, like the ice cube tray of red.
Yeah. They're not terrible. I think out of all of the Fuselage B bodies, the 72 Satellite Roadrunner, I think that's the one that they really nailed it.
Yeah.
The only thing where those cars lose it in my mind is just like the most minor thing is the marker lights. Whereas 71 had the styled inset marker lights, and in 72 they went to the plain corporate
bolt down square
sticking
sticking out of the body instead of the nice flush one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the tail lights, the grills. I had a 72 Roadrunner 400 4-speed car, which was just the most beautiful. I used to marvel at that car. It was like any angle you looked at it, it was just like perfect and tight.
Mm-hmm.
Taillights 68 Dart went. They're good taillights, bro.
Yeah.
69 Coronet, I think, might have a 68 Coronet. Yeah, it's hard to beat the 68 Coronet for taillights.
When did Mopar stop using the hidden headlights on the B body?
70, was it 72? Definitely it had them in 72. Did they have hideaway headlights in 73, 74? The last car that had the hideaway headlights was the Dodge Magnum, 1976. Is that right?
That's it. Sounds about right, yeah.
76, maybe 77, I think was the last year on the Dodge Magnum, which was like the Charger. First it was called the Magnum, then they renamed it the Charger. Mexican spec, 1979 for the Dodge Magnum, the Dodge St. Regis. Oh, yes, that's right.
St. Regis.
Dodge St. Regis had it too.
Well, I mean, if you go, past the B body, some other cars had it
Yes.
for Chrysler, but for the B body.
No, these guys are right. And those St. Regises, I liked those cars. they're extinct. Like they're completely extinct now. But I actually like those cars. I thought they were pretty good looking.
Yeah, they're overstuffed interiors and things, and
Yeah. They look solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They look solid.
But what you know what I since we're going off on this tangent, what I miss is cars with pop-up headlights.
Like the ones that don't work on my Charger.
Don't pop up like
Oh.
you know, like zzz.
The Miata was the last of those,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It was the NA or the NB. I forget what year. But they made them do away with those because of the it was a pedestrian hazard.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Well, if you're out during the daytime and you walk in front of a car, you're okay. But just at night, yeah, stay out of the road. But yeah, I had many cars with pop-up headlights, and I always thought that was the coolest thing.
The Opel GT.
No, Ford Probe GT and a couple Firebirds and a couple. What else? There was something else weird that I had them in there. It was like a.
Well, the Opel had a lever.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, and some big mechanical thing, and they'd roll over.
Yep.
And on the Corvettes when they worked, I thought they were neat, and so.
They never went up or down at the same time.
Yeah.
And there was always one that was just a little lower than the other.
Yeah. Ooh, get this going on.
They used the same everything, the same the vacuum canister, the same motor, the vacuum motors, actuators on the Charger in 68, 69 as they did on the Corvette. All those parts are completely interchangeable.
Really? Okay.
And that Corvette was the first one with the fiber optics.
Oh, the little showed you the taillights.
Yeah. That was the first application of fiber optics, and you talk about being way ahead of your time.
Well, and then shortly after that, they were in all the Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had that little thing on the back, by the back window, you can see if your taillights are on.
Zero. Gotta love a test. That's right. How much damage will a car do to a person foolish enough to get in front of it?
Yeah.
Mine says Dodge first morning.
Backflip headlights in the Corvettes, yeah.
Andrew Button saying you can get fiber optics on a 69. Yeah, but it started in the Vet, the 68. Um, 59 Imperial 413. The Imperials had some neat headlight touches with the outboard mounted. You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and later ones had the big doors and.
Mexican Specs, if you watch the commercial for the 84 Corvette, the headlights do not open at the same time. From the start, they were like that.
Well, yeah, it's 2 relays and 2 motors, and yeah.
The Riviera had a clamshell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Cougars had the.
Oh, yeah, look. The Straight Bullet just said it. Riviera clamshell headlights. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. Look where we're at time-wise.
Wow.
Wow, time flew.
Yeah.
But we only got 146 thumbs up. How's that even possible?
That's better than some days, but it's a far pittance of what it should be.
Dude, that's an ego destroyer. That just, I mean,
you just want to give up at that point.
I want to give up. I'm done. I can't go any further.
You with Kathy Bananas and dogs, you get more than that. So what's that say?
Yes, Oscar, I am feeling better. Yes, Mark. Yeah, I was. Yesterday I was. Oh, I was bad. Today I'm up and I'm moving around. I just gotta go easy so I don't, undo it again. Rusty the Derelicts, you were competing with the talking heads on TV, yapping about old men dropping out of politics this evening.
We probably got more views.
Oh God.
Than some channels. Who cares?
So what's the short version of what happened tonight?
Mm.
I knew right from the beginning. As soon as I heard there was going to be an assassination attempt, there was an assassination attempt. I said, "This is going to kill the views. This is just
yes.
all of this stuff is just going to kill views."
Yeah, they're going to watch that. Yeah. Andrew Button Cougar hidden headlights look like a thatching rake. I think they look like a Norelco electric shaver myself.
Which one was that now?
That 68 Cougar.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, Zero is saying the 69 RS Camaro, right? The headlights.
Yeah, they were just
like, never once worked right. You sold the electronic conversion kit to repair this awesome example of GM engineering. Okay.
It's spoken of sin.
Pre-tape didn't step down. Josh Homan explained his reasons for dropping out. Okay.
Yeah. Pre-taped.
But it was a run of sentences.
Mm.
So Giggles isn't the president now.
Not yet. Not yet. We do not have a camel-toed president, so.
she's oh God.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Has anybody else noticed that like literally everything that's going on right now is a Saturday night live thing from 1978?
Yeah.
Two hats. What's happening, brother? How are you? Haven't seen you in a while.
What's going on, bud?
Ever do a video on tuning a lean burn Mopar? No, just
throw away the carburetor and distributor, put in good ones, and
take it off.
And it drives like amazing.
Chris Freemesser, it's been a nonstop SNL skit since 2016.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. I've been telling people, just enjoy the show for 8 years now, 7 years, and what a show it is! Oh, it's awesome! It's awesome.
And then I'll say one thing. Going back to Jeffrey from Two Hacks, his channel went over 10,000 subscribers.
Congratulations, bro! That's
yeah,
excellent.
Well, yeah, he works at it. Unlike me, he actually puts out a lot more material. So kudos to him. He's
excellent.
Doing
Congratulations, man.
We in California Center asked DC Fair and Square.
All right, don't want to get into all of this stuff.
Yeah, we're getting sidetracked.
We're right on the borderline right here. Right? I really don't want to go any further than that.
All right.
But I think universally we can all agree, regardless of which side of the political aisle that you're on, is that she's absurd. But that's not left, right, center.
That's just
human observation.
Yes. If she was handing you your burger at McDonald's, you'd be like, "Geez, how'd she get a job?"
Have you heard some of the word salad that comes out of her mouth?
And just blathering. That's my word for it. It's just blathering. It's just turned off. I don't watch it.
Brad Kwiatkowski. Brad, hang on, bro.
Brad K.
Kwiatkowski? Nobody's watching. Great. It's my first time watching. Welcome.
Welcome, brother.
Yes. Heels up Harris. Oh no, Olive! Come on, Olive. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
She may be being sarcastic too.
No, even Olive. Olive, what do you think of her? No, Olive is our long-term. She's very, very liberal, very extremely liberal. I love her. She's been around forever. But Olive, what's your opinion on Harris?
Anthony Barber, going back to what we were talking about, 73 Roadrunner 340 versus a 74 Roadrunner the 400.
The 340.
The 340s,
Yes.
yeah, all day.
Yeah, I have one. I have a 73 344 speed. Yeah, the 400's got a ton of potential, but those cars in stock form, the 73 340's got it.
Julian, hey Tony and Art, transmission question for you. Got a 72 Dart with a stock 318 and 904. When the car is at temp in idle, the car stumbles, then dies when shifted into drive. What you guys thought?
That's carburetor issue. It's
Yeah,
not transmission.
Vacuum leak carburetor issue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something in the carburetor. It's not the transmission. Oscar, thank you. Here's one for you for sure.
Oh yeah, the ABS module on my Crown Victoria stopped working. Yes, they all do. And now the ABS light is on. Would you know a company that rebuilds the ABS module circuitry? I'm gonna tell you something, and you're not gonna like it, because I've seen this enough. You want to see if you can get your hands on a Ford NOS stock one, because I've seen many of them, because they all fail. It's not the inside; it's actually the circuitry on it that fails. And the ones that are non-Ford and aftermarket and white box and everything like that will last a week.
Well, then there you go. I don't know anything about those at all.
Yeah. And if you could, there are some places, if you search, you can ship them that ABS module, because it's not the valves and all the things and O-rings and that stuff inside the module. It's the actual circuitry itself that fails on those. Where that big plug plugs in and clips down, inside that, the brains of it fail.
Now, Olive is saying people just can't decide which way to bigot about her. Olive, she bills herself as a black woman.
She's not.
She's not black. She's Indian, like Indian, not Indian. But she calls herself black. I mean,
she's Indian and quote white.
Right. I see no African roots in there, like at all. Isn't that like a racial version of like stolen valor or something?
Yeah. Mexican spec. The ABS light has been on my Durango for 15 years. Yeah.
I don't have anything with ABS to have a light on.
What Malaise era car do you guys like? It seems like they had performance of the couch back then, and they made
road
couches. I don't mind a road couch. I'm a big Cadillac Eldorado Coupe de Ville type person, so I don't mind a road couch.
If I had to pick a road couch, I'd say an Olds 98. Like a
Olds 98.
Yeah, like an early 80s, 82, 3, 4.
Yeah, the big square ones that ride like a
yep.
Yeah, that are, or any Cadillac from that area also, as long as it doesn't have a 4.1 or a diesel, you're in good shape. Can a push-button Mopar transmission be converted to work with a floor shifter? A Mopar guy I know said that it can't, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so wait, maybe I'm wrong here, because I'm being corrected by both Mexican Spec and Olive, right? Mm-hmm. Mexican Spec, her black father abandoned her and her Indian mother raised her, but she identifies as black for personal gain. Okay, I'll go with that. And then, Olive is saying, have you ever seen that? Okay, my mistake, guys. I guess she's
Sure.
half African.
Brett 70, can I ask an electrical question? Yes. Feel free. That's why we're here.
For another minute.
You can get it quick. Type quick.
And Dickie Farley would take her out on a date if she paid the bill. She's got one of them government cards, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
government credit card. Just go. Order the lobster, bro. I mean, don't surf and turf.
Yep. It's unlimited.
Oliver saying just possible your information is unreliable there. That's the first time I've heard anything about her having a black father.
And we don't really want to go there.
And Sean Davidson saying she's half Jamaican, not African. Oh, and then Scoop is saying the same thing. So is Jamaican black? Well, Jamaican would be mixed. Okay, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's a stretch.
So, moving on. Now we're making Olive mad.
No, don't get mad, Olive. We love you. Stop.
Yeah. This is all just.
All right. Okay. We're over the 2 hour mark.
Yes, bing.
And we've pissed off Olive. We don't get pissed off.
No, it's all we actually really don't care.
We really don't.
So it's what anybody she wants to be a Venuvian from Planet 7, whatever.
I've decided to sit this whole thing out and just put my feet up and watch. I got my popcorn. You know what I mean? I'm ready. What turn is the show going to take next?
Yeah, not my monkey, not my circus. So
right.
It's all let it go.
Right. So, Dr. Art, what do we need to promote?
We need to promote. Go watch the dog videos, and then if you are in this Nashville area and you go to the pound and you get a dog, I'll cover the cost.
I'll match whatever he. If you guys adopt anything from Paws from the Rutherford County Animal Shelter here, we'll cover whatever it costs.
No problems.
No problem.
And if you go out this week and adopt a dog and show us pictures and stuff like that, we'll send you stickers and gift packs and all kinds of goodness we'll send your way.
Okay, do that, right? So listen, Kathy's overwhelmed, right? Overwhelmed. But if you do adopt a dog, okay, let Dr. Art know. Dr. Art's
Hot Rod Rehab or DRARTSSTUFF@gmail.com.
Yes, and we'll send you stickers.
Yeah, stickers.
Both of us.
Whatever dog toys and stuff. Show us what you get. We'll do it appropriately and stuff like that. And I'll even throw this out for the folks.
Okay.
If they go adopt a dog, let's say in the next, you can give them 2 weeks from a shelter and send us evidence of it. And you need a computer tune, I'll do it for free.
And I'll give you a hat. So yeah, you get a free, computer tune, and I'll give you a hat. What about cats? Why does somebody always have to throw in the hook?
Why? Cats should be free anyway. So.
We're dog people, but I tell you what, from this live stream, if you adopt a cat, I'll
and send them this paperwork. I got Fluffy from the Madison County, whatever.
Somebody's always got to throw in a curveball.
Yeah, I picked up 2 abandoned hamsters. Come on.
No, seriously, guys, the shelters are overstuffed, and they're going to get worse.
They're going to get worse as back to school comes and stuff like that.
And the cost of food and everything else keeps going higher and higher, and people just cannot afford their pets. So do what you can.
And if you're worried about it, if you go, everybody wants the cute puppy, but if you get an older dog,
senior dogs,
they'll love you and they won't eat your furniture.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll just be your buddy.
I'm telling you, eventually, I've told you this. At some point, I'm getting rid of everything. I'm clearing everything out, and I'm gonna open a dog rescue. Just senior dogs. Just from a nice place where they go run around and do whatever they got to do.
Yeah, there's one old guy in Rutherford. His name's Griffin, and he's like a black lab. He's probably 7.5. He's a senior guy, and he's been there a while. So if anybody wants a good buddy, go pick him up, and we'll take care of it.
All right, guys. So that's it. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab, live every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central Time. And he shows you, he goes through cars. So you send him pictures of your cars. He features all of that.
Yeah, we share them with everybody and stuff like that. And there was a lot of computer questions too, which feel free to answer. And
Yes.
if I don't know, I'll let you know, and maybe we'll both learn something.
All of our mods, right? Mexican spec 0. I don't know if Food Bar was here. I didn't see Ari, but even though they're not here, they're here in spirit. Thank you guys so much. Always greatly appreciate it. Everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you very much. Never expected, but always appreciated. And everybody contributed with your presence and your conversation. Thank you equally, because it's you guys clicking on this stuff that allows us to do it. And you're our bosses. They control our fate
And our destiny.
and our destiny.
Yes.
Exactly.
And they alter the matrix for us
They do.
every week. So
They do. So, all right, that's it, guys. I'm gonna pull the plug on this, and I'm gonna go home and take a muscle relaxer and just like zone out. So, good night, everybody, and thank you. And it's over.